Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Naomi.
Yeah.
Old MacDonald had a farm.
Yeah.
So we've decided to maximize our space, and by doing that, we're adding 3 new garden beds to our backyard. Knowing that this was coming, and in our future, we saved tons of garden clippings and palm fronds, not to mention let the weeds grow absolutely wild over the past few months to fill our new raised beds cost effectively. The lasagna method we're using is where layers of cardboard, clippings, leaves, fruit and veggie scraps, coffee grounds, shredded paper, aged compost, and worm castings, just to name a few, create layers of organic material. These layers will eventually cook down into nutrient-rich soil and build better biodiversity over time than if you were just to fill the beds with soil. Pro tip, if you're using weeds from around your garden, or if you're placing your garden bed around a heavily weeded area like I am, make sure to put cardboard, newspaper, or paper bags at the bottom layer to smother further growth of the weeds. This will also start the decomposition process and provide moisture and darkness, which are ideal conditions to attract worms for great soil health. Since building these layers is a form of composting, it's important to water each layer as you form your bed to encourage the decomposition process. Lightly moisten each organic layer with water, and this will help prevent the bottom part of your bed being dry majority of the time in the beginning. Okay, so let's break this whole thing down. The brown material layers are the cardboard and dry brush. Those are just examples, and they provide carbon to our soil. Just as you create different layers when making a lasagna with meat, cheese, and noodles, you'll want to rotate layers of brown and green materials in creating a new garden bed. The examples of material for green layers would be things like food scraps and garden clippings, which will provide the nitrogen. So in theory, I was hoping to strive for more carbon-rich layers rather than nitrogen-rich layers because we water with wastewater from our fish tanks, which is already nitrogen-rich, but it's not an exact science, and my material layers were really based on what I had versus what I should ideally have. I personally think it's healthier to use what you have on hand and kind of disperse the ingredients amongst the 3 beds rather than consume more waste than what was needed to get the exact perfect measurements for each individual bed. I can't speak enough great things about this method because if you think about it, the layers of the lasagna bed help the environment as you prevent yard waste, kitchen scraps, and recyclable materials you probably have all around your home from traveling long distances to a landfill. Okay, so after foraging for multiple layers of green and brown waste around my home, I layered the top few inches of my gardening beds with store-bought potting mix and then lastly compost. I really love the Charles Dowding method of using compost as your top mulching layer, and so I like to do something similar but a little bit different in my raised beds. Up until this point, everything filling the garden bed was free, so I made sure to invest in great quality compost because this will be my top soil. I'm also investing in my garden beds by interplanting companions such as marigold starts and hearted off sprouted basil seedlings to create an all-natural pest control for my cannabis plants before I mulch. Hi, Shadow. SD Microbes is a local San Diego business that specializes in inoculating spent organic beer grains from a nearby brewery. The recycled substrate is mixed with red flaky wheat bran, azomite trace materials, fermented comfrey, and beet juice, as well as unsulfured molasses. All of these ingredients are beautifully dried together, then packaged in a biodegradable plastic-like bag and burlap jute sack. This unique bierkashi brand works magically for composting food and organic waste using Korean natural farming methods, but I particularly love using it as a soil additive and mulch. When used as a mulch, the bierkashi helps create a mycelial mat that hardens the top soil surface and protects soil microbes from damaging UV rays. This intricate web of mycelium starts to form after about 24 hours and creates a really cool but weird white fuzz at the surface. In a nutshell, mycelium is an uber fascinating filamentous fungi that creates super plants as it seeks essential nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Plus, it breaks down organic materials to become bioavailable in the soil food web we have worked so hard to create. Hi, Shadow. What are you doing, baby? Hi, Shadow. Mulching our entire garden with just a thick layer of bierkashi is a little out of our price range at this time. But we have found a more affordable option is to lay the bierkashi down first, then top with a preferred mulch material such as wood chips, straw, or even hay. In doing this, you'll receive all the benefits of both the bierkashi and mulch, but at a reduced rate of cost. Basic math and science formulas state that input equals output. So basically, materials we input into our garden will produce a similar quality output. Building and nurturing biodiverse ecosystems in our home garden feeds our spiritual and physical bodies with the same output elements as what we initially inputted into the ground. With more and more scientific research pointing to the fact that great health is directly correlated to a healthy, biodiverse gut microbiome, our gardens are a perfect example of you are what you eat.